Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Fast Leadership Podcast with Arnaud and Gordon, where we look to take the rocket science out of leadership and make it accessible to everybody. So I get asked this question a lot. What are the qualities that make a great leader? Or what qualities should I develop in order to become a great leader? And then I immediately turn the question back on the person that asked it and ask, what are the qualities of good leaders that you've worked with? What were those qualities that you liked about them?
Okay, interesting.
So think about it. So tell me about a good leader that you've worked with, and tell me the qualities that you liked about them.
One that comes to my mind immediately is empathy.
Empathy, yeah.
I absolutely like to work with this leader in particular. She was amazingly great at giving feedback directly after a meeting or after a task is done, and getting prior to the feedback, how did you feel about it? Yeah. And I love the question, almost every time. How do you feel about the project? How do you feel about this? And she would understand emotionally as well how I was feeling about it. And it's very, very interesting and very refreshing.
That's actually a great question as well, because I've just been successful. And when you ask me, how did I feel about that? I can say, oh my God, it's so empowering. It was amazing. I knew what I was doing. I had all of the tools and I just smashed it. Or it could be, I never want to go through that again. It was the most stressful thing in my life. And they go, oh, right. Yeah. I didn't see any of that. I just saw the outcome. And now you just told me, all right, so why is that? And then we can dig down a little bit deeper, because if we want to repeat our successes, we want to be doing it in a way that it is good, rather than, I never want to repeat that because engagement's probably a bit lower. So give me some other qualities of leaders that you've worked with that you liked.
I really like to be given a task that motivates me, obviously, and then within the right set of conditions, that I have time to work on it and develop my skills in it. And it's about not micromanaging. We've been through micromanagement in another episode of Fast Podcast, and people should check it out, by the way. But I really like to have a very clear deadline that gives me the time that I want and I need to do the task, because I know I can do it. I'm in the right conditions to do it.
So you want the space to be successful.
Yeah.
And then clarity over what's needed.
Definitely.
Tell me some of the qualities that you'd like to have, that you've experienced from leaders that you'd like to have.
For myself, you mean?
Yeah, for yourself. Leaders,
qualities
you liked from a leader.
What I struggle with is sometimes to, how can I put that? To see or to know that people are struggling with the task. Sometimes I don't think that until
I'm asking you, from the personal qualities, what are the things that good leaders that you've worked with, what are some of the other qualities that they've had?
I love that they can delegate. I love it. I love a good leader confident enough to say, I won't do it, you will do it. I love that. It's very impressive.
Okay. Give me another couple.
Let's say, we've talked about emotional support. We've talked about empathy, delegation,
space,
and in a very general way, I love a leader who can say the when and how stuff has to be done. I just had it to leave a meeting. I love clarity. That's what I love. I love the clarity that a leader can give, and if I have to turn that into a human quality, I would say it's, I don't know, a clear mind, a clear view. How do you?
Clarity.
Clarity. Clarity. I just love it.
A leader that brings clarity. Okay, so what are some of the things that you don't like about leaders that you've worked with? We don't mention any names. Just what are some of the qualities?
No, I won't mention, but I've been yelled at in the past from a leader.
You?
That person would scream.
Screaming,
screaming, yelling, getting all sorts of negative emotions out in a very violent way, I would say. Verbally violent, of course. And that's just the worst.
And any others?
For sure, a leader who takes all the credit on behalf of the team. Not a great leader to me. And I won't tell any names. Let me think for a second. Yeah. Sometimes being too soft and not pushing, maybe not pushing people, it's not the right word. But
a pushover.
Yeah.
A leader that's a pushover,
Yeah. Or, someone who say, well, I'm middle management leader. So it comes from above, and I can't do anything about it. And you have to just play with the rules, and a leader won't defend his own team or her own team. It's hard to work with. And to me, it's like a pushover.
Yeah. Well, for me, there's two aspects of that. There's one is a pushover where I don't push you enough. I'm a little bit too weak as a leader. And then there's the other, which I find even worse than that. And that is the one where they'll say, hey, it's not my strategy, just do it. Whereas as leaders, if we take on the job of implementing the strategy, it's our strategy. Because if we say, don't ask me why we're doing this, it came from above, we've just shown we're not engaged. And aligned with the results. And for me as a leader, you should be pushing back up the chain to say, hey, I don't think this is the right thing to do. Or if you're just told shut up and do it, and I've been in those, then we have to own it and move forward with it. Because if we don't, we're not connected, our teams are disconnected, and it's not going to happen.
A great counterexample of that is, again, from a TV show from The Office, right? Yeah. And Michael Scott, regional manager at Dublin Mifflin, he would fight corporates for his team, for the benefit of his team. Yeah. He's a terrible leader by all means, but he has great qualities in leadership as well. And that makes him a very interesting character.
Well, one of the things about leadership qualities is that you can have 7 good and 1 bad, and if the 1 bad is bad enough, it will kill you as a leader. Whereas if you're a little bit, if you're just a little bit of a pushover and you've got all other good qualities, then you might be able to get away with it. So the reason I ask you that is because now when you're creating your list, that should be your list.
Yeah.
I always tell people, be a leader that you would want to follow. So taking the rocket science out of this, do you
want to be your own boss?
Yeah. If you wouldn't work for you, why should anybody? And if any of those things that you put down as negative, you do, cross them off. This is why I don't understand micromanagement, because anybody that's micromanaging, if you were to ask them, do you want to be micromanaged? They would say, hell no. Okay, so then why do you do it? Why are you doing something that would disengage you?
Yeah. So what's the answer? Why do they do that?
Well,
why would I do that?
Well, a lot of it comes from fear or lack of capability or confidence in that. Confidence in their team's ability, which comes from a lack of confidence in their own ability to lead. So, one of the things I often talk about for leaders, if you want to know if things aren't going well and you want to know who to blame, there's this great leadership tool you can get. It's called a mirror. And if you look into it, at some point you will see the cause of all the root cause of all the problems in your team. So,
in psychology, people sometimes say that the worst, the person who prevents you from reaching your goal, sometimes maybe yourself. It's called self-sabotaging.
Yeah, self-sabotage. Yeah, absolutely. So as I say, for me, it's always the same answer. What are the qualities should I develop as a leader? What are the qualities of leaders that you would follow? Because if you become a leader that you wouldn't follow, guess what? Nobody else is going to follow that leader. And I did some research, or I saw the research from. There was a 10-year study of what are the top things. What leadership is constant in all countries. They did an assessment to see whether leadership was the same everywhere. They had 72 criteria. They measured them all, and only 4 were common in every country. And because of that, they decided that leadership is different everywhere. Yet the 4 things that people want from their leader is clarity, the space to do the job, don't micromanage me, support when I need help, and praise when I do a good job. That's the literal definition of leadership.
Of a leader. All of those.
So they're rocket
And it's very
science.
interesting. People can listen to us everywhere in the world, and with these 4 qualities, they can be a great start of a leader.
Absolutely. So clarity, give people the space, give people support when they need it, and praise when they do a good job. So for me, what they were doing measuring, I don't even know what the other 68 things could be. Maybe safe environment. I could probably get to about 8 or 9. I couldn't come up with 72 different things.
Yeah.
And then when we talk about leadership, it's fairly simple. Clarity, no micromanaging, support when people need it, and praise when they do well. So if you're, when you're looking at qualities, those need to be part of it as well. And it's, you don't need to be worried about, obviously things like authenticity and integrity are important, but what you should be looking at is what are the things that you would follow? Because if you become a leader that you would not follow, then nobody else is going to follow you.
Okay, so I got this list for myself, right? Yeah. I know what I want, and then I start to lead a team or just one person or whatever. I start to lead. How do I make sure that I got these qualities and I enhance them? My idea is that I do ask feedbacks from my team. Is that the way you would go?
Yeah. So one of the things about leadership that's most important, or one of the most important aspects of leadership that we need to develop, is emotional intelligence. And one of the things of emotional intelligence is self-awareness. So if we write down that these are our qualities, then we should be getting feedback on them. So one of the things that, if we want to bring clarity, then we can just keep asking, is that clear to you? Am I being clear? Just keep asking that. One of the things I do when I create a presentation quite often is I'll show it to my wife or somebody who's not an expert in the subject and ask them to read it and say, does this make sense to you? Because if a non-expert can understand it, then it's clear. So we should be write down our qualities and then be looking to get feedback on them. And clarity is probably, one of the most difficult ones to improve, because we do deal with a lot of complex things and it does take a lot of thinking about. But giving feedback, no skill required in that. Integrity, no real skill required in that. Just don't lie or steal, or accountable. Do what you say, and if you can't meet a commitment, then don't make that as a commitment. A lot of the other qualities, kindness, supporting people. I'll tell you how you support people. Ask them, what do you need? What can I get for you? And a lot of times when I've done that, people say, I'm good, but what I just want to know is that if something comes up, I can come and ask. Yeah. So you become their safety net. They're probably never going to use you, but knowing there's a net there allows them to operate with more confidence. Right. So a lot of these, qualities, they don't require a great deal of intellect and skill. They're just there. And then two other skills, if you think these are important for you, that I would mention are trust and respect. And if you want people to trust you, it's reciprocal. Start trusting people. The more people you trust, the more trusted you become. Respect, it's reciprocal. The more people you respect, the more you will be respected.
Right.
So none of these require a PhD in astrophysics, a degree in mathematics, a master's in leadership.
It is so easy. I love it. It is the quality that you teach your kids, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so easy. Yeah. I mean, at kindergarten, you do teach that kids.
Yeah.
So everyone has that in them, and just develop them.
And we do need to
use them.
We do need to differentiate skills and qualities. Qualities, as I say, I do think being clear is a quality. But other things, like if you want to be better at planning, or if you want to be better at resource management, some of those are skills, and you do need to go learn and develop them. But a lot of the, if you were to ask people what are the leadership qualities, they'd be talking about, respect, integrity, accountability. There's no degree needed in those. They're all easy to do, and yet so many leaders choose not to do them.
and it is so simple we have to ask why.
Well, and I think a lot of times it comes back down to sometimes it's about reflection. I'm a trustworthy person, and in my opinion, and that makes me trusting of others. If I'm not a trustworthy person,
why would you trust others?
Then I'm not going to trust others. So what we do, how we treat others, is also a reflection of ourselves. If somebody comes to your house and you lock all the biscuits away, that's because if you went to their house and biscuits were there, you would eat them.
Liars don't trust people.
Yeah, so it can be that. It can be a reflection of what we think of ourselves that we project onto others, or it can just be that we lack confidence. And we just need to get over it and go out there and, as I say, trust people, respect them.
And I would say, I'm absolutely no expert in the field, but that seems like not an advice, but just a thought. If you suffer from lack of trust, from lack of recognition in your own life, and to be able to recognize other people's quality and value, maybe going to a therapist would be a good idea.
Yeah, well,
it could be.
It could be, but just start doing it as well.
And practice. Practice.
The thing about trusting people is that what percentage of people are going to prove to be distrustworthy? Let's say it's 5%, which I think is a larger number than it probably is. So you're now not going to trust 95% of the people because of 5%.
Yeah.
And that not trusting the 95% who are trustworthy, that now has an impact on your reputation with them.
I'm not going to give my address for obvious reasons that will come in a moment. I always forget to lock my door when I leave home, because I will never enter anybody's home and steal from them. I always forget that part in my morning routine. And nothing ever happened to me. That's the beauty of it. It's that if someone wants to break into my house and steal in it, they will do it anyway, whether I lock the door or not. So I'm not saying people don't lock your doors. I'm saying I just forget. That's who I am, because I trust that people will not do it, and so it's not in my mind.
So when people are worried about people's integrity and all those kind of things, it's that. And if you're not getting a lot of recognition, I would ask the question, when was the last time you recognized somebody? I worked on a project where, and I think we might have talked about this before, where we said we never get any recognition from the business. And I said, well, when was the last time you recognized the business? And they said, why would I do that? I said, well, they generate the money that pays our salaries. And we're doing requirements gathering. Why not say, good job on the requirements? I really understood that. Good job on the user acceptance testing. And I said, look, we're going to do this for a period of a month and we'll see what happens. And over a period of months, people came back to me and said, oh, the business complimented you on what we did. I went, yeah.
So Gordon, I'll make a very flattering comparison here. Mahatma Gandhi, he used to say, be the change you want to see in the world. And if you don't get some qualities from your leaders, you as a leader develop those qualities and put them into action.
Absolutely. And Gandhi, a great leader, and that's another way of looking at the qualities. Look at the qualities of leaders you like, and then follow those. So leadership qualities, it's very, very simple. Don't need a PhD. Look at the leaders you like, and then do the things that you like about them, so that you would be a leader that you would follow. And if you do that, you're good to go.
And don't do the things you don't like about crappy leaders.
Absolutely. I would also say it's probably worthwhile asking somebody who will answer honestly, is there anything I do as a leader that drives you nuts? And if they say, yeah, cross that off the list and stop doing it.
That's so easy. I love it. It's very clear, very easy. Let's put that into action.
Okay, well, thank you everybody for listening to the Fast Leadership Show. If you've enjoyed it, please share, like, comment, 5-star reviews, and it was great having you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye.